All right, nothing wrong with a little bit of meatloaf to kick off our first study session of the year. My name is Michael Rapaski, and I will be your host this evening. Excited for all of you to be here. We are back on after our slight holiday break for weekly study session. If you haven't, please drop your sections that you want to cover into the chat. I'd love to get to as many of those as possible tonight, and make sure that everybody has everything that they need to pass that exam. So I see financing, valuation, calculations, property conditions and disclosures. Okay. So we should be able to get to most of these. Let's go ahead and start with financing. For anyone that it's been a while since you've joined us on one of these, I'm going to read the question, read the answers. You put it A, B, C, or D in the chat, corresponding to the appropriate answer. And then whichever one we think is the right one, we will go with. And then I'll talk a little bit about why that is. If you have no idea what the answer is, if you're confused, please just put a question mark in there. That means everybody should be putting something in each time. Question number one. The term debt service refers to A, the amount of money owed on a note or promise to pay. B, the amount of money paid in regular intervals to reduce the balance owed on debt. C, the movement of money out of a savings account into a higher yield investment. Or D, an instrument used in many states in place of a mortgage. All right, looks like we've got some B's and C's in the chat. Looks like more B's than C's. So we will go with that. And that is correct. Debt service refers to the amount of money paid in regular intervals to reduce the balance owed on debt. The term debt refers to the amount of money owed on a note or a promise to pay. This movement of money, those who answered C, is disintermediation. That is disintermediation. Question number two, RESPA requirements would not apply in which of these situations? A, the property mortgage is insured by the FHA. B, the property is purchased with a federally regulated mortgage loan. C, the property mortgage is guaranteed by the VA. Or D, the conventional loan will not be sold on secondary markets. The D's are going to have this one. If you're operating like a traditional savings and loan, that are not gonna sell off the mortgage, but are gonna hold it, RESPA requirements do not apply. All right, another RESPA question. RESPA regulations would not apply where? A, loans for 1 to 4 family residences. B, the second or subordinate lien for home equity loans. C, a transaction financed solely by a purchase money mortgage taken by a seller. Or D, a first lien residential mortgage. Which one of these would RESPA regulations not apply in? All right, we've got B's throughout. And the answer on this one will be C. So this is worded a little confusing. So I'll just read the rationale. RESPA regulations apply only to loans financed by federally regulated mortgage loans or loans intended to be sold by the lender to or on the secondary mortgage market. They also apply to 1 to 4 family homes, which are qualified as residential. A transaction financed solely by a purchase money mortgage taken by the seller. So I think that this is the reason that this doesn't apply is this is effectively a seller financing, because the seller is taking out the mortgage, not the buyer. And in seller financing situations, RESPA would not apply. Question number 4, if a lender is charging a borrower an interest rate of 5% and also charging the borrower 2 points, what is the lender's yield? What is the lender's yield in this situation? Is it A, 10%, B, 7.25%, C, 5.25%, or D, 7%? Looks like we got some C's and some D's. One, two, three, more D's and C's. Let's see what we got there. And that's going to be incorrect. A point in this context is 1/8 of a percent. So 0.125%. So 2 points is 1/4%. So just keep that in mind. Whenever they're in a lending situation, they're talking about paying points or charging points or buying down, they're paying points or charging points, that it's going to affect the yield at a 1/8 of a percent. Question number 5, RESPA prohibits a buyer from giving a bonus to an agent for an outstanding job, B, the buyer from receiving an estimated closing cost, C, the buyer from using her own attorney, or D, the lender providing secret profits or kickbacks from service providers. Which one of those is prohibited in RESPA? Yeah, the only one of those that actually sounds illegal. It is, you can't, RESPA prevents special kickbacks or those sort of things with service providers. Question number 6, the term debt refers to A, the movement of money from savings accounts into higher yield investments, B, an instrument used in many states in place of a mortgage, C, the transfer of real property by a private owner to a public agency, or D, the amount of money owed on a note or promise to pay. Yep, debt's just the amount of money you owe. Question number 7. When a defaulting borrower redeems the property after foreclosure, but before the confirmation of the sale, which instrument will they use? A, certificate of title, B, a redemption certificate, C, a sheriff's deed, or D, a reconveyance deed. All right, looks like we've got B's and a couple D's, more B's. Redemption certificate is the correct answer. A reconveyance deed is issued when the deed of trust has been satisfied. A sheriff's deed transfers the title at a sheriff's sale, and a redemption certificate is used as what the borrower uses to redeem the property after sale, but before the confirmation of the sale. Question number 8. A real estate firm has an in-house title company, mortgage broker, and home inspection company under one business entity. This is allowable if A, controllable business arrangements are clearly disclosed to the consumer and the consumer is aware that there are other providers available. B, the consumer uses the in-house lender. C, the fees exchanged amongst the affiliate companies for referrals, fees are exchanged. Or D, there is no duty to disclose these relationships to the consumer. So what makes this allowable? That's A. We call this an affiliate business arrangement. It's a disclosure that you'll sign. We own a title company, and so we have to disclose that at every transaction. And it's called a control business agreement here. It's called an ABA in Ohio. Question number 9, which is the right of the defaulting borrower in a title theory state where a borrower is able to redeem a property after a sale is confirmed? A, quiet title. B, equitable redemption. C, statutory redemption. Or D, the borrower has no right of redemption. All right, what do we have here? We've got some A's, C's, D's, and B's. Man, we are all over the place here, guys. Let's see. I'm seeing more B's than anything, and I got to go with the masses, although I think it's C. The reason for that is you're dealing with it after the confirmation of the sale. So statutory, it means, it involves the courts. I don't know. I'm not too good on my Latin, but equitable redemption of title is what is possible before the confirmation of the sale, before the transfer happens. And that's effectively them getting square on everything they owe that led to foreclosure to start with. After the sale has been confirmed and title transferred, for somebody to go back and redeem that title, they would have to go through a court process and show why that would need to happen. Question number 10. Typically, a developer or builder would have which type of mortgage on his development? A conventional fully amortized. B, a wraparound with a partial release clause. C, interest only with annual payments due. Or D, a blanket mortgage. All right, looks like the D's have it here today, and that is correct. So the blanket mortgage is going to be the most appropriate one because it covers more than one property, and typically a developer or builder is building, dozens, if not hundreds of properties all at the same time. All right, excellent work, guys. Let's get back to the dashboard. So financing check, we had valuation as one. Valuation and market analysis. All right, let's hit that one. All right, question number one. A home with a basement wall that is failing is best described as suffering from A, curable economic depreciation, B, a curable functional obsolescence, C, an incurable physical deterioration, or D, an incurable functional deterioration. And those answers are a mouthful. All right, so it looks like some people say it's a physical, and other people say it's a functional. I'm seeing more C's than D's. I'm going with C, and that's correct. Major structural problems usually cannot be fixed at any cost that makes economic sense. This is an incurable physical deterioration. Question number two, an increase in the value of property, either due to positive improvements in the area or the elimination of negative factors, is referred to as A, assignment, B, appurtenance, C, appreciation, or D, appraisal. It is appreciation. We like it when properties appreciate. We're paid on property values when they transfer. So the more they appreciate, the better off, the more money we make. Question number three. The assessed value of a property would best indicate its A, value for mortgage purposes, B, cost replacement value, C, value for tax purposes, or D, value for listing purposes. Yeah, that's right. Anytime you see assessed, the assessed value or assessment rate, we're talking taxes. Question number four, which income is calculated by subtracting vacancy and collection losses from gross income? A, is it capital gain? B, net income? C, effective gross income? Or D, gross income? All right, I think the C's have it here. That is effective gross income. Gross income is total income the property can, could, or should produce. Effective gross income backs out vacancy and collection losses, right? Also, for anyone who dropped D in the chat, gross income being in the question, easy way to eliminate gross income from the options. Net income is going to be effective gross income minus expenses. And then capital gain is the amount of money that you make when you sell the property. Question number five, the cost approach is probably the most accurate when estimating the value of A, a retail shopping center, B, a single family home, C, a church, or D, an apartment building. Which one would be best for the cost approach? All right, let's see here. We've got some A's and C's. It looks like the C's have it. Let's go with C. And that's correct. The cost approach is maybe the only method that is going to work for a church. Market data approach is best for single family homes, income from multifamily, and retail shopping centers. So if it's a unique property, think about this, guys. There's not a lot of comparative sales. So it's like, okay, what would it cost me to build a church? It's this much. Okay, well, maybe that's what the church is worth. Question 6, the income approach is probably most appropriate for a residential property in the desirable area. B, an apartment building. C, a historic residential home. Or D, a museum. Yep, the apartment building is going to be best. Question number 7, a large manufacturer is building a factory in Flint. This will be a definite economic boost to the city. How will this affect home prices in this area? A, it will make no difference. B, there's no way to know. C, the home prices will rise. Or D, they will fall. C is correct. Home prices will rise. That'll be an economic boon for the area. More jobs, more demand, more buyers, less inventory, prices go up. Question number 8. Which is typically used on a market value appraisal? A, replacement cost obtained by estimating the depreciated cost of an exact replica. B, reproduction cost obtained by estimating the depreciated cost of an exact replica. C, reproduction cost obtained by estimating the depreciated cost of all improvements with similar utility to the subject. Or D, replacement cost obtained by estimating the depreciated cost of improvements with similar utility to the subject. Tamara jumping out early with the question mark. Appreciate that. All right, so lots of D's in here. I guess we're going with D. And that's the correct answer. Replacement using today's materials and methods is usually acceptable to buyers, good for market value appraisal. So a couple things that we need to know here, or the primary one is what's the difference between reproduction and replacement? And this question, regardless of, well, I guess market value appraisal, two of them are wrong because reproduction is not similar utility and replacement is not exact replica, right? So the first part is just asking, is replacement cost followed by the definition, right? So replacement is, hey, this was a marble countertop. I just want a marble countertop. Replace it with something of similar size and function. Reproduction is this marble was from the Vatican and it needs to be reproduced with the marble from the Vatican. Those are going to lead to two different costs. For a market value analysis, reproduction is there because it's unlikely that people are going to be super specific about reproducing the exact materials. Question number 9. The term appraisal refers to A, the obligation to be personally liable for conditions in a contract. B, the value of real property fixed for purposes of computing taxes. C, a defensive opinion or estimate of value of real property on a certain date. Or D, an increase in value either due to positive improvements or removal of negative factors. Yeah, you guys all got it. Remember, appraisals are good for the day that the appraisal took place. Question number 10, using the market data approach, how would an appraiser estimate the value of a second bath? market data approach. A, find out what the builders of two houses charge for the second bath, then adjust for inflation. B, analyze matched sales, pair sales in the area. C, use a cost manual for reference. Or D, visit local plumbing supply stores. They're going to do this market data approach. B is correct. Analyze matched pairs. You're going to look for homes of similar size and layout, one with a bath and one without a bath, and their transaction values, and say, oh, all things held equal, second bath's worth $5,000. All right, great job, guys. 10 for 10. Got valuation licked. All right, let's go on to calculations. I know this is always an intimidating one for folks. All right, question number one. A property was sold for $189,500. The salesperson involved in the transaction received 30% of the broker's 5.5% commission. How much did the salesperson receive? Was it A, $1,535, B, $2,675, C, $3,126, or D, $1,263? All right, looks like the C's are there in the chat, and that is correct. So we have the value of the home, $189,500 times 5.5, shoot, 189,000. I hate this calculator. $189,500 multiplied by 0.055. That's for 5.5% commission. That's a total commission of $10,422. Now, the one salesperson is going to receive 30% of that, so we're going to multiply by 0.3. That gets us to $3,126. Good job, guys. Question number 2. The listing salesperson gets 30% of the total commission on the sale, and the selling salesperson receives 40% of the remainder. How much would the salesperson receive if she was both the selling and listing agent on a property valued at $220,000 at a 6% commission? I will stress the 40% commission for the selling agent is on the remainder. Give you guys a little bit more time. All right, looks like the D's are in agreement, and that is correct. So I know you saw some question marks. A couple of you hit me with question marks, so I want to make sure that we work through this one. All right, the property is a $220,000 sale at a 0.06% commission. It's a $13,200 commission. 30% of it goes to the listing agent, right? So that multiplied by 0.3 is going to be 3960. So 3960 is the listing agent's commission. And then there is the 40% of the remaining commission goes to the selling salesperson. So 13,200 minus 3960 means the remainder is 9,240. Now multiply that by 0.4 for 40%, and you get 3696. So 3696 plus 3960 is 7656. You get the wrong answer, and probably something closer to 9630 if we go about this as 30% and 40%. It's of the remainder. Question number 3, a real estate agent receives a commission of $12,681 as half of the total commission. The price of the property was $563,600. What is the rate of the commission that the broker charged? A, 12%, B, 3%, C, 6%, or D, 4.5%? D is your answer here, 4.5%. We simply double this number because it's half the total commission, and then divide that by the value of the property. Commission paid divided by property value equals commission rate. Question number 4. A driveway must be replaced. It is 32 yards long, 9.5 feet wide, and the concrete is 4 inches thick. If concrete costs $153 per cubic yard, what is the cost of replacing the driveway? A, $7,224, B, $1,722, C, $749, or D, $942. The tip on this one is if you're looking for cubic yards, all of your inputs should be in yards. All right, looks like we got some question marks and some B's. The good news is the B's are right. Let's figure out how they got their answer. If we're dealing with cubic yards, all of these need to be measured in yards. So 9.5 feet actually equates to 3.16 yards, right? There's 3 feet in a yard. So if I divide 9.5 feet by 3 feet, that gets me 3.16 yards, right? So now I have a 32 yards long, 3.16 yards wide, and then the concrete's 4 inches thick. Well, there are 36 inches in a yard, so 4 divided by 36 gives me 0.1111111 yards. So now I multiply that times the 3.16 yards and multiply that by the 32 yards, and I get 11.23 yards. And I multiply that by 153 because that's my cubic yards cost per cubic yard, and I get 1722. I think I rounded a couple decimals there on the 3.16, which came back to haunt me. So be careful about doing that. But at the end of the day, that is your way to the answer. Question number 5, which expense when a property owner has a mortgage is generally not deductible on their taxes? Which one of these is not going to be tax deductible? Is it A, mortgage interest, B, mortgage principal, C, mortgage prepayment penalty, or the property taxes, D? Yeah, B is going to be your answer here. You cannot deduct the principal payment for your taxes, right? You can deduct the interest, you can deduct prepayment penalties. You can't deduct taxes from your taxes, and you can't deduct the prepayment penalty, or excuse me, principal. Question number 6. A salesperson receives a commission of $5,940 as half of the total commission. The broker, the sales price was $198,000. How much did the broker charge? It's like the B's have it at 6%. Same thing, 2-part question. Remember, in these calculation-based questions, the things that'll trip you up are the words. Like if you try and go too fast, you'll miss that it's half the total commission. So then you won't know to double it. Double it, divide by the value, 6%. If a salesperson's commission is 3.54% and houses are selling for $220,000 each, how many houses must the salesperson sell to earn at least $70,000? A10, B12, C9, or D13? All right, the C's say 9 houses, and that is correct. So what we do is we find our average commission rate of 220,000 times 0.0354 for 3.54%, $7,788. And now we take 70,000 and divide it by 7788. And that gets us to 8.98 houses, which you cannot sell 98% of a house. We only sell whole houses. So it's 9 houses. A property owner paid $25 per front foot for a 600 by 1,452 foot lot. How much did he pay? A, $14,500. B, $15,000. C, $16,000, or D, $15,500. Really straightforward question. When you do front foot on pricing, it's always the lead one. So 600 times 25, 15,000. B is your answer. Question number 9, excuse me. Joe and Mary want to add a recreation room. Their 1-story home and garage together cover 1,600 square feet of the 75-foot by 110-foot lot. If local zoning laws limit the building size to 25% of the land lot, what is the maximum floor area square footage that Joe and Mary can add to their home? A, 400. B, 462.5 square feet. C, 2,063. Or D, 825. Looks like we got some B's and some C's and some D's. Let's go ahead and work this one through. The total lot size is 75 times 110, which is 8,250 square feet. Now, the total buildable area allowed because of local zoning laws is 25% of that. So times 0.25, which means the total buildable area is 2,062.5 square feet. The existing home is 1,600. So the largest addition, we back that 1,600 out, is 462.5 square feet, right? So we go, what's the whole area? What's my max building area? What's my existing building? Have those 3 things. It'll give you exactly what you need, what you can build legally. A property owner paid $25 per front foot for a 600 by 1,452 foot lot. How many acres did he buy? Oh, A, 40, B, 10, C, 20, or D, 30? All right, looks like the C's have it at 20 acres. This is a pretty straightforward question if you know how many square feet are in an acre. So let's get the total square feet of the property. 14,000, or excuse me, 600 times 1,452 gets us to 871,200 square feet, divided by the amount of square feet in an acre, which is 43,560, 43560. That is the zip code of Sylvania, Ohio. That's 20 acres in total. Man, could you imagine buying 20 acres for $15,000? Wouldn't that be a treat? All right, gang. I am gonna take let's see what we have. Do we have time for property condition disclosures? Let's get a couple questions here. I think this is maybe 10 questions. We might not get through all of these. I'm going to stop a few minutes early to talk about a couple of different things. One, ecology is best defined as A, the maintenance of an ecosystem, components and functions for future generations. B, the effect of a man-caused or natural activity that has on living organisms in their environment. C, exposure of a non-human organism to a stressor, or D, the relationship of living things to one another and their environment. What is ecology? Yep, it's D. Question number 2. Which of the following could be made available to a buyer to indicate that a property owner had authorization to make alterations or additions to the property and that the work was done to applicable standards? A, plans and specifications prepared by a registered architect. B, a building permit and certificate of occupancy issued by the municipal government. C, a home inspection report prepared by a professional home inspector. D, receipts and work orders from contractors who perform the work. The B's have it, and the B's are correct. Question number 3. Which of the following would a broker representing a seller require to which of the following would a broker representing a seller require to disclose to an unrepresented buyer? A, the fact that the previous owner or occupant died of AIDS or was HIV positive. B, the lowest sales price that the seller would indicate that they would take. C, the type of listing contract that exists between the seller and the broker. Or D, a latent defect known to the seller and the broker regarding the condition of the property. Yes, it is D. That is the only legitimate one that needs to be disclosed. There's no HIV or AIDS disclosure. You should not, unless your seller tells you to, indicate the lowest price they would consider. And your disclosure of the listing contract is not necessary either. Question number 4. A seller completes a property disclosure form and states that there are no conditions in the property in need of repair. However, the listing agent recognizes early signs of termite infestation. The listing agent should A, disclose the condition to the buyer as a patent defect. B, disclose the condition to the buyer as a latent defect. C, not tell the buyer and rely on the seller's statements in the property disclosure form. Or D, tell the seller to amend the property disclosure statement. Which should they do? Everyone voting B. The sales agent should disclose this to the buyer as a patent defect and would be discovered by a reasonable and thorough inspection. A latent defect is a fault in the property that could not have been discovered by a reasonable, thorough inspection before the sale. Question number 5. The flat or nearly flat land along a river or stream covered by water during a flood is called the A, fluoridation, B, floodplain, C, flume, or D, fossil? Yeah, that is the plain that floods. That's the floodplain. All right, great job, guys. We're going to drag up here a little bit shy of 7 o'clock because I wanted to chat with you guys about a few things. One, I want to make sure everyone is in communication with myself or Gina regarding your applications, your next steps. I know the holidays got in there and maybe you guys were planning on, oh, I was going to follow up. I was going to, I was going to do this. I was going to do that. Just make sure you keep the wheels moving. If you haven't heard from the state, reach out to the state. If you haven't heard from me or Gina, reach out to us. We are committed to helping you get through everything you need to get your license and get underway and take advantage of this market that we're in. Lots of good opportunities coming for everybody, but make sure you're in communication with us. If you have not scheduled your exam and you're eligible, get it scheduled. Let's go. We're here. We'll get you, even if you don't pass, we'll get you turned around and right back into the testing room. If you have questions or needs, make sure you're putting those in the Facebook group. Make sure that Facebook group is, you guys are using that. You're also going to see something go up on Thursday or Friday about some Saturday sessions. So we have a Keller Williams partner out in Arizona who's holding Saturday sessions at 11 a.m. For the test material for the national exam. And then at 4 p.m. on Saturday, they're going to be doing test taking strategies, right? So if you're a nervous tester, you need some help with that, be on the lookout in that Facebook group, Future Real Estate Agents of Northeast Ohio. If you're not a member, become a member. It was in the email you got sent today about today's study session. And let's get licensed and get after it, guys. If you need anything, just let me and the team know. And we are here to take care of you. But that'll be all for this evening.